Sorry for the bad lighting in here. I have power, I just don't feel like turning on the big lights. And I got my seasonal depression. I joke about it. I used to have really bad seasonal depression. What am I doing here? But see, you ever get one of these lights? See? And it's worth the investment if you have seasonal depression. Or you just live in a dark place that doesn't get a lot of sunlight. But yeah, I joke about it, but let me just say this winter was horrible. It is horrible. I can't even try to uplift myself. Let me just say that. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm not just saying that because I am not okay. I'm saying it because I am okay. I'm really okay. But it was so dark and dreary and long, and there was just no breaks. Usually there's a couple days dark and dreary and a couple days light, and then you can kind of look forward to okay, we're going to be in the darkness today, and then tomorrow's going to be like, not this winter. No, this winter said we are going to go dark, dreary, cold, miserable. Oh, and then we're going to have a 6 to 8 week cold where we're just down for the count. Oh, and then now we're going to get sick again. And today was just horrible. Anyways, I wasn't going to make a video because I'm ready to go to bed, but I got to get to bed early. I got to get to bed earlier than I have been. But anywho, but I was out and about, and I usually try to pick something out of the day to make content about, and some days are just not, there's just nothing to really, there's always something, let me just say that, but there's also sometimes just not anything, you just kind of have to make it up. But anywho, I went into a store as I was going into the store. It's a makeup slash pharmacy, whatever. And anyways, I'm going in through the indoor, and this group of teenage girls is coming out through there, which, it's not a place to go out of, it's a place to go in of. And they were yelling obscenities and foul words that I had to cover my ears up because I'm a classy lady, so that I wouldn't hear them. And they were directed to the employee, a lady who was probably maybe 10 or 15 years younger than I. And anyways, they were yelling the obscenities and the rudeness and blah, blah, blah to her. And it took me a minute to figure out what was going on, right? Because sometimes employees can be rude to the teenagers, which I've seen before. And I've had to tell my sons that if you're a patron in a store and you're treated rudely because you are young, right? This was when they were teenagers. Sometimes business owners were rude to the high schoolers, and they wouldn't want them into the store because they were afraid of shoplifting and things like that. So I was very adamant to tell my children and their friends, if you're treated rudely or ignorantly in a store, then don't shop there. Don't go in there, because you're just as much as a paying customer as your mom's or dad's. So anyway, so I didn't know what was going on. Then I found out, I for a minute I thought, oh, they're probably shoplifting. Let me just say that. I made assumptions. I'm a horrible person. But as I found out, yeah, they were in there. And, the employee is just a lady that's going in to make money so she can feed and house herself. She's not a parent or a caregiver that's supposed to look after your badass children when they go in the store. They should already know by now at this age how they should behave in a store. And I know some kids have behavioral issues. I was a badass little kid at one time, believe it or not. This classy lady in front of you was not always a good girl. Let me just say that. But I was never rude or disrespectful to people, like to older people. But anyways, they were shoplifting. And in this particular store that I was in, they have eyeshadow palettes like $40-50. They have mascaras $20. If you girls can't afford that stuff, then maybe you should go to the Dollar Tree. You know what I'm saying? It's so funny that people that take, a lot of the times they're always taking that, even if they had the money, they wouldn't be able to buy those things. They always take beyond their means. Like, you know, you want $100 face cream, you know what I mean? They're just trying to take because they can, not because they need it, number one. And number two, that employee is just doing her job. She doesn't need, okay, so she doesn't need your input, your insults. If you get caught, just don't say anything. Leave the store. You know what you're doing was wrong. You know you're stealing. So just walk out. Don't tell the lady blah 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 and all them things. Just hold your head high, even though, you know, you shouldn't. But just walk out. Leave. Don't do that. Like, you know, I didn't know what was going on. And I'm a big lady. And I could have grabbed one of you little twerps and threw you down to the ground, but I choose not to intervene. Why? Because one day when I'm out taking a night walk or something, the group of yous might decide to, you know, confront me and hurt me, and I'm not down for that. So I mind my own business. But if I showed you ladies, you girls, videos of how you look today, if I showed them a video to you guys in 20 years of how dumb and stupid you look, you know, running your mouth at the employee, I mean, what is she supposed to do? Stand by and let you steal? You know, she's already putting herself in harm's way defending merchandise, which is just a thing. It's just an object. You know, she's already putting her life in jeopardy. You know, these kids nowadays, they'll pull out a KNIFE. So it's probably best you just turn your head the other way. But at the same time, you can't let them terrorize you either. And the more they're taking stuff, the more, you know, the more stuff that's not available to us. You start putting it behind glass and plastic. And now when I go in to actually pay for my items, I feel like the shoplifter. Because I got to stick my hand behind these panels or ask someone to unlock the case behind them. But anyways, ladies, I know youth unemployment is up sky high. But even if I told you to go put a job application in somewhere, you're not going to get a job because youth unemployment is just, so it's not even like you can go. But anyways, you can't have those big, larger ticket items then. Go to the Dollar Tree. Go to the Dollar Tree. Don't risk having to go to court, getting charged, having to go through the stupid programs that don't help you anyway, or lead you on another. You know, when you get into those places, when you start committing crime, you meet other criminals, and then you go down other paths, and it just gets worse and worse. It starts out as petty crime, and then you get into larger crime. And you know, the next thing I'm seeing you on America's Most Wanted. So even though you're not going to listen to me because I'm an old lady who's sitting in my chair in a midlife crisis, I'm telling you to straighten out your life. And if you're bearing witness to that, you know, there was a few times in my life, you know, again, I will not ever reveal names or locations where I bore witness to some stuff. And I didn't say anything because you can't, you know, she'll get beat up. But I just, you know, I looked the other way. I was the quiet one, just, you know, okay, they're doing that. I don't want to be a part of it. But you know what? You are a part of it. You're in the mix and you will get in trouble too. So, you know, if your mamas and your daddies aren't going to tell you how to behave yourself, take it from me. It leads down a very dark, dreary path. And if you think you got problems now, trust me, they're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Don't lash out. Don't punish yourself. Don't try to put yourself in even more of a mess than your life already is. Yeah, you might have a few knots right now, but they will unravel themselves. But don't get yourself further into a muddled mess, because let me tell you, I can see and I've seen it. I've seen so many people, they start out with, like doing, I said, little stuff. And out of a group of, I'll say young adults for the sake of this video, but in a group of young adults, all the ones that went to juvie or jail or wherever, you know, now at 50 years of age, now seeing how many of those people are actually around, healthy, able to function, it's real slim. It's real slim. It's sad and it's dark, but you know, It doesn't turn out well. And you think, oh, they're just stealing some lipsticks and some eyelashes. What's the big deal? That's how where it starts out. And then you get involved in bigger stuff. So check yourself before you really wreck yourself. And again, if you're going to do what you want to do, you're not going to stop, whatever, all the power to you. But leave the employees out of it. That lady could have physical problems. She could have people that she needs to take care of at home. You know, it's not good for her mental health. Leave her out of it. If you get kicked out or cussed out in the store, just turn it away and leave. You knew what you were doing was wrong. And it's too bad you don't have grandparents or something that you could talk to. And that's probably part of the problem with today's youth. They don't have their elders, and they haven't learned, you know, back in my day, you learned to have respect for your elders. So at least that when you found other adults in public, you weren't so ignorant and rude to them. But anyways, I'm just someone giving out bad advice on the internet, so take it or leave it. But trust me, girls, not a good way to live your life. It just gets rockier from here. Good night.